Welcome to our Alocasia propagation tutorial inspired by last week's episode of the Growing Joy with Plants podcast. I have my Alocasia here ready to be propagated, and we are going to be joined by Lindsay Sisti of All the Plant Babies, who is the Alocasia propagation guru. She was my guest on the podcast. She runs the account All the Plant Babies and also has a propagation book out. And we're going to talk about corm propagation, Alocasia corm propagation. It's a very specific way of propagating. Lindsay is going to have more to show than I do. But I'm so excited. So do we have any Alocasia lovers in the, let me put this light on me. Do we have any Alocasia lovers in the comments today viewing? Any Alocasia lovers joining us today? 1 second. I know she's coming. I believe I have a corm in here. We'll find out. If you're joining, welcome to the Alocasia propagation tutorial. We're going to be propagating Alocasia corms with Lindsay from All the Plant Babies. She joined me on the Growing Joy with Plants podcast last week to discuss Alocasia propagation. So many of us love alocasias. There's so many reasons why we should love them. And I figured we'll do it with one of mine and hers. This is actually a rogue alocasia that popped up in my planter. I have Crescent Garden planters in my lanai, and I did not buy this alocasia. What I'm guessing is that there was a corm that was in one of the potting media, like one of the potting media of one of the other plants that I bought. So this is like a rogue alocasia that I've gotten. Love the rogue ones. Have you had a rogue one before? Have you had a rogue alocasia pop up in one of your planters? It's never happened to me before. Not with alocasia at least, but I do love how delicious these roots are. And let me see, can I send Lindsay an invite? Whoops. Oh, here we go. Here she is. For those who just joined, we're doing an Alocasia propagation tutorial via the corm method. And I'm being joined by Lindsay from All the Plant Babies, the Alocasia queen,
You call me that.
the propagation princess.
These aren't self-described. Like, I wouldn't go around saying that. It's a little...
I love it. Okay, so to start off, Lindsay, I went out... Huh?
I said, I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
And all of your nicknames that you give me.
Yes, I'm very good at them. Okay, so I have to talk to you about something because at first I was like, I don't have an alocasia. And then I realized, I have a rogue alocasia in one of my outdoor plantings. It just popped up out of nowhere. So I'm guessing that there was a corm in a pot of one of the other plants that I planted up. So
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, okay, so I took it out of the planter.
Oh, boy.
This is not a corm, right?
It once was likely a corm. And over time, the corms do grow longer and longer and turn into rhizome-like structures. So,
Okay.
and that's why the term corm and rhizome, when being used for the species of Alocasia, is a debated thing in the plant world, and it's exactly for this reason, because they don't follow necessarily the conventional botanical wisdom when it comes to the species of alocasias, because yes, they are underground storage structures, but they do follow and grow in a little different behaviors than maybe some other species corms and rhizomes would. So that was once a corm, and which is, a little here, I'll show what a little corm looks like. So that's a little sprouted corm, and that's what it started off as. And then over time, they do grow into these long, extended stem-like rhizomes. And
So can I propagate this?
oh, yeah, you could definitely propagate that. I mean, this is more of a rehab situation than a corm propagation situation. You could definitely propagate it, but it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be like picking a corm and then peeling it.
Okay, so then I also noticed there was this guy.
Oh, that's your straight up corm. That's your
Okay,
fresh corm.
so we did a whole interview on my podcast, Growing Joy with Plants, about corm propagation. It's a great way of taking one alocasia, and so many of our alocasias are rare and expensive, and maybe we want to, spread the love, and making more for free. So you agreed to join me on a live because this is so visual,
Yes.
to kind of go over what the actual process looks like. So I believe you have some forms, and I figured you could walk us through it and I'll just kind of follow along.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds like
Okay.
a great idea. And I actually have next to me right now, like every method of, well, you can't really see it well, but I brought by almost every method possible that you could use for corm propagation, so we could take a peek at
Amazing.
some of those different methods as well, depending on what you want to do with your corm.
Okay.
So do you want me to just start by walking you through how to propagate your specific corm?
Yeah, let's do it. So what makes mine specific?
Okay, so what makes a corm? First of all, you could tell it is a corm and not a rhizome, which you had before in your hand. Yes, by the fact that that is, you see that it's like a Hershey kiss. I almost describe it like a Hershey kiss shape. It has a point on top. That point on top is where the new growth is going to grow out of. So you can see Maria's on top is still white. Mine is further along, and you can see it has green. So where Maria's is a white tip, mine has already busted through with growth. That's going to happen to Maria's corm after she plants it.
Cool.
And yeah, it's really cool. And then roots grow out of the sides and top rim. I'm going to make sure. The roots are going to grow
Mhm.
out of the sides and the top rim of the corm.
Is it okay that mine doesn't have any roots?
Perfectly fine. They start
Okay.
off with no roots. They're smooth, and typically they have this. Well, they all have this brown cover, just like like an onion shell, like a
Yeah.
bowl.
Like a little
Any
skin.
Yes, yep. Yours has a very light one. Some of them have very thick ones. This one had a very thick one. And what is interesting is normally I peel this off first because that helps to speed up the process.
Okay.
Um, my friend says, "What part is the forbidden nipple?" I, he's so awesome. So I was calling these the forbidden nipples to advertise this live today. I said you had to come and learn what the forbidden nipple is.
I love it.
This is the forbidden nipple. It looks like a nipple.
Yeah.
Totally looks like a nipple. And that's in reference to we were talking on the podcast episode how I plucked unceremoniously plucked a bunch of corms from one of my mother plants, and I
They
could
got
just
mad at
tell
you.
she was in agony. She was in agony, and then she just immediately collapsed. And I told Maria that it must have felt like I was plucking her nipples, because I mean, she's just, that was the best body part descriptor I could think of. That would be just so painful if someone like took these off of you, and then I would collapse after too. So I have a lot of empathy for my plants, and a lot of anthropomorphism, which I'm
Of
told
course.
I'm crazy. I'm freaking crazy. I wrote my book and the editor was like, you got to take out all the anthropomorphism.
Ah, that's so
That's
funny.
what my book had. Anyway, I'm going on it. You're like, Lindsay, get back to my damn corm.
Oh
Okay, so
no,
here
hold
we go.
on. Well, I just wanted to ask you. So I've started peeling it off, and the top half is peeling off easily. The bottom half is not. Is that okay?
Totally okay. And in fact, you don't have to peel it. However, if you use a garden tag, like one of those plant tags, or a credit card, it's 10 times easier. Unless you just
Okay.
happen to have really nice nails that are like long. You kind of have nice nails. So maybe your nails are good and you don't mind chipping your nail polish at all. But a garden tag has that perfect thickness to just,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
a great hack.
Get in there. Yes, I did not make that up. Comes from a research paper from Aerodynia in like 1982. The guy said use a garden tag. So I just love how people were inventing and playing with corms back in the 80s and wrote about it. It gives me hope that like you know, my great great grandkids generation will find some of the crap that I'm doing today and be like,
I
wow, this is
know. Isn't that
what
cool? When you're an
I know.
author, you're like, yeah, this is gonna like live way beyond me.
I hope so. I hope the world is still around and they're like watching these.
Fingers crossed. Okay,
Okay,
now I
so
have my naked secret nipple.
right. Oh my God, it's so exposed. Cover that
So
up, Maria.
exposed. So
Is this
so vulnerable.
is this okay for the internet? I don't know. We
I
should put a
know.
little bra on that thing. So watch, you'd probably be censored for all this nipple talk.
Hmm.
So again, so when you one caveat with peeling your corms, you'll want to make sure that your hands are clean beforehand. Just when you're propagating anything, I like to keep goes for any kind of propagation. I used to wash my hands all the time, and then I got lazy. Um, and then I got lazy. Um, that's like my ad for everything. And so then I discovered rubbing alcohol, which is
Hmm.
70% is actually better for cleaning than 90%. Go figure. And that I learned in my book research. But 70% rubbing alcohol, pour it in a spray bottle. I have them all over my plant room. So just spray it on your hands before propagating anything and you'll sanitize your hands. So I just recommend that before peeling corms because you are getting into the plant tissues. And if we didn't do it just now, you're fine. But
Oh, as you can tell, I just got out of the shower with my wet hair, so I'm clean.
you're like a full body rubbing
Yeah.
alcohol situation. Okay, that's great. So it's good, because you don't want to introduce bacteria that will later cause excess mold when you go to propagate. Because when you go to put this in a high humidity enclosure, any kind of mold or bacteria will replicate. The one other, one caveat to that is not all mold will kill your corm. I've had some corms that get white mold all over it, and they still sprout and grow into beautiful plants.
Okay.
So in the wild, or anyone who's used to outdoor gardening, you'll notice, your bulbs. Have you ever seen like storage mold on bulbs?
Hmm.
Like when you get them, like a little bit of mold on these bulbs is still okay. The
Yeah.
plant still grows. So don't
Okay.
freak out if there's mold.
Okay.
Um, oh gosh, my friend is like really hooking us up with some great information. He says, pro tip, don't gouge into the corm, dirt and hexes. Don't gouge into the corm as best as possible. Yes, you don't want to like really
Right.
break into the corm. So you're really, yes, you're slicing outer, the outer sheath of the corm. You
Hmm.
really don't want to break that tissue on the inside of the corm because that will disrupt the cells that are needed to grow the
Hmm.
plant. So definitely don't want to start like chomping into it, just gently. And I'll show here because even though this already has roots, and it's easier to see on one that has like this nice thick outer layer. I'm just really peeling off just that brown outer layer. And I have never peeled a corm, and I've probably peeled 600 and had it backfire in any
Okay.
way. And there's
Okay,
been
great.
and there's been times where I've chipped some of the actual corm and the corm still grows. So you do have a little leeway. So after you do that, the next step is to figure out, or maybe even before that, you want to figure out what propagation medium you want to put it in. There's multiple options. Ooh, you got your fluval ready?
Hmm.
Yes, I love it. We did an episode on fluval stratum together. So Maria's like, I am set with my fluval. Fluval.
I also have some leca here, but I think the leca is too big. Like the leca balls are bigger than my corm.
Yeah, it is. Leca will create air pockets that are just tremendous.
Okay.
Not saying it wouldn't sprout in Leca. It might sprout, but like you said, the corm is gonna. It's almost bigger than the corm is
Yeah.
smaller than the Leca balls themselves. So I mean that'd be a great experiment to see how it does in the Leca versus something like fluval stratum, which kind of envelopes the whole corm. But I personally do not use leca much in general, just because I'm a fluval girl and a sphagnum moss girl. The one method that is very popular right now, and I did it on purpose just to show everybody, is the puddle method. You'll hear that all the time on the alocasia groups. I don't know who named it the puddle method or where it came from. It must have been like an Instagram influencer that I missed, because it all of a sudden sprouted up everywhere. And that's simply to fill a cup with a little bit of water, and you put your corm in. Now this corm is sprouted already, but when I put it in the water initially on my windowsill, it was just an unsprouted, unrooted corm. I put it in just
Can you
about,
hold the cup up a little bit so it's fully submerged in water?
now the tip is coming out a little bit, but it was just about fully submerged.
Okay.
Just about. I mean, and the reason why it's fully submerged is because I just filled it, and then it evaporates each day. So like at the end of a couple days, it wasn't fully submerged. So the goal isn't to necessarily fully submerge it. Again, I'm trying to be a little lazy here. I shouldn't use lazy. I'm very busy. So if I kept it at a tiny bit of water, it would be gone by the end of the night. I just don't have the time to check on it. And then sure enough, it sprouted very, very quickly. I mean, I think it was like within 2 days. I was actually shocked at how fast a sprout came in this method. And I mentioned this on the podcast, though. And then you can cover it to increase humidity. I did not cover it. My friend says it was created by Dr. Alicia Puddle of Germany.
I know,
Okay,
not really.
I'm going to stop listening to you. So you can cover it or not. Covering it will increase humidity and probably help it grow faster. Thing is, water is going to get algae, and you're going to have to change it out. You're going to have to make sure the water levels don't dry out. It's a little more maintenance. Does this method work for sprouting corms? Sure. Are there other methods that I personally like better? Yes. I do want to do experiments with what sprouts corms faster, which I haven't done yet. And seeing how fast it did sprout in here, I am intrigued.
Okay.
I am intrigued by the speed. I still probably won't switch to this as my method because of the maintenance involved. The water did turn green. Every day I'm pouring it out. I'm like, when is this live with Maria going to happen? Because I'm sick of this corm in this freaking cup. I can't I'm like angry about it. It's on my windowsill. My husband and kids are going to knock it over. Maybe one of them's going to drink it by mistake. I can't have it. It's a liability.
So what are you going to transition now that our live is over for the demonstration purposes? What are you going to transition that into? What's your
The
preferred method?
garbage. No, I'm just kidding. Not the garbage.
Oh.
I'm so mad about it. No, at this point, at this stage, I'll probably transfer it into fluval.
Okay. So
Fluval and
if I
perlite.
have my corm and I
Yeah.
have my fluval, the water is up to this high. The
Yeah.
fluval's up to
Perfect.
this high.
Perfect.
So I'm going to put it tip.
You don't even need fluval. Well, actually, I mean, that's a lot of fluval. So even like a smaller container, like a more shallow container would even be better. And my favorite, I don't know if you have this on hand, because you could put it in there though. If you want to put it in a container like that, that's fine. But if you even had a more shallow container, that'd be
To
even
use
better.
less fluval.
Yeah. And just to show you how little fluval I'm using, this is my corm growing container. And this is just a seedling, instead of
Oh
lifting up,
yeah, that's like just an inch deep.
it's a little seedling tray. And so,
Oh, I love that. So you put one corm in each seedling tray.
yep.
Genius.
Yeah, and then it's covered by the humidity topper, and each little tray separates them from one another in case a corm rots, the rot or molds, the rot does not spread, and the humidity is kept in. And
That
so,
is genius.
yeah, this is my preferred way, and I
And what
50-50
is this?
perlite.
Yeah, what's the substrate?
It's 50% fine perlite, so not the chunky perlite, small fine perlite, and 50% fluval stratum.
Dirt Hexes wants to know what your opinion is on 100% fluval versus cutting it with perlite.
I find both work equally as well. I cut it because fluval is expensive and perlite so cheap, and since they both work just as well. And in fact, I like the airiness of the perlite. I feel like it's creating extra air pockets, absorbing extra water, preventing it from getting waterlogged. So I think there's
Yeah,
some
they said that they find 100% stratum leads to more rot. So that's interesting because you're saying the perlite aerates it a little bit more.
Yes, yep, creates aeration and saves money. So hey, it's like a bonus all around. Um,
This is
Definitely.
just my random container of fluval that I've had since our original live. And
I
since
love
then,
it.
I've potted up the plants that I rooted. So I was like, perfect, I'll stick it in here. So
It
with
will
the
totally
corm,
work in there. It will totally work. Just I would wet the whole thing though. I would make sure because that's a little corm in a
okay,
lot of fluval. So just from the beginning, I would fill it up higher with water and
yeah.
maybe just uh, water it from the top just so that the corm gets a little wet.
And how much am I submerging it? Because it looks like your corms are fully submerged in there.
No, they are. I'm gonna find a
It's
nice
hard to
one.
see. Yeah.
Let's see. Doot, doot,
Okay, so just their little tips are sticking up
tips. The corm tips are on the top. I always tell people to plant them so that just the tip is
of the
showing.
Hershey Kiss.
The tip of the kiss, tip of the nip.
Tip of the nip. Put the tip of the nip in the air, expose the tip of the nip to the air, and then submerge the rest of it. Okay.
Easier to remember.
And then how long do I wait? Like, how long do you think this will take? And I know it varies depending on corm size and species. How long
And
are we
how
expecting
warm it
this?
is. Yeah, and it depends how warm it is too. So, I mean, I would say a couple weeks to get yeah, it depends so much. So if you peel it, it definitely sprouts faster. If you, I mean, and I have done experiments with that. I've peeled and non-peeled. The peeled corms definitely will sprout faster. You're looking at, on average, a couple weeks, a week to 3 weeks for a peeled corm.
And then because I have space in here, if I wanted to play around with this, would I cut this at the top and then this is the top that I'm submerging it in?
Yeah, so make sure first, it's kind of hard to see, but I would make sure that it's fully cleaned from any kind of rot. I don't see any, the bottom, make sure there's no mushy areas or areas of rot within. When I say areas of rot, like squeeze it with your fingers, nothing seems mushy or
No, no, it's
suspicious.
good. It's
Oh,
good.
good. Perfect. And you look like you have great roots there. They're white, they're firm, no slimy rot. So yeah, I would cut. You could. I mean, yeah, you want to. I would cut that top
Right
stem,
here.
the stem from the bottom. Yes,
And
yes,
then
right
plant
there.
it this way up.
And I would plant it that way. I'd fully submerge it, except maybe have the top right
Okay.
there.
Okay, cool. Um, cool. So maybe I'll get two alocasias. Did you say that I want to try and keep this to 30 minutes so people can take their lunch break with us? So, did you say you have other methods you wanted to show us?
Yes, sphagnum moss, actually.
Okay.
So this is actually what I use when I don't have a seedling tray. The other method that I use most often is sphagnum moss. And so, oh, right. I,
Mhm.
I have so many alocasias growing that like sometimes I'll just take sphagnum moss out and like an alocasia will be growing in it. Like I don't even know what that is. Sorry, guy. So I'll take a corm. If you just imagine this is just any corm that I took from my plant, and I clean it off. I'll peel it, and then I take a container. I like to use these soup containers.
I have
Sometimes
those.
I love them. And before I knew that you could buy them in bulk on Amazon, I used to just have my husband order wonton soup because he loves wonton soup. And every time I needed one, I would say, Chris, I need some wonton soup. And so it's like his job to eat the wonton soup as fast as he could so that I
Right.
could
So
have a
you could
plate.
have it. I love that.
But then I started getting too many corms, and he couldn't eat the soup fast enough. So I'm like, this is ridiculous, because I wanted to be very green and reuse and recycle. But
Hmm.
now I'm actually purchasing them, which I think is ridiculous because there's so many people eating soup in the
Out of
world
that.
that if they
Yeah.
all just gave me their recycled containers, we'd have a
We need a
greener
mail-in
planet.
program.
For real, everyone, send your soup containers to me. I will reuse them. I feel like an idiot buying these things. So now I'm buying them. You can then, the reason why I like them is because when they sprout, they are tall enough to fit in the container still. And it's the
Mhm.
perfect size for young alocasias.
So
So
then you have space for the alocasia to grow while still keeping the top on for that humid environment.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And if you run out of time and you're just really busy in your life and you don't have time to pot them up right away, there's no transferring. You can just leave them for like a month or two and they just keep growing in here. They're getting light. So, those little corm cups that people sell are really cute. I sell them too. They sprout corms, but then you have to keep transferring it. Same thing with this. You have to keep
Mm.
transferring it. Even with the last method I showed you, the corm only has room to grow this big, and then you have to transfer it to a bigger pot once it starts sprouting leaves. This method, this is like the set it and forget it for like 2 months method. You
Right.
put it in, fill it with sphagnum moss. I love specifically New Zealand spag moss. That's the brand that I swear by. It's the one that's bright orange and white on the cover, on the packaging.
Hmm.
And fill it in. I don't even chop it up anymore. I mean, some people like to chop it up with scissors. No, you don't even need to for alocasias. You really don't. Put it in. You want to give the roots like at least 3 inches to grow downward, but you want to leave enough space so that the plants can grow. So, like I would say maybe 2, 3 inches. And then you plant the corm same way, just with the very tip of the nip. I can't stop saying that now. Pointing out just a little bit. So might be hard to see, but I mean, you can almost
It's
not even
just
see it.
cozy. It's just nestled up and cozy in all that moss.
And that's what it likes. It likes to be surrounded. And that's why I say, like, Leca might just, it doesn't feel right. Like, if I was
It's
that
not
corm,
cozy. It's not
it's not
cozy.
cozy. That's not the mattress I'd want to lay in, you know? You
It's the
want,
difference between like laying on a riverbed and like a rocky riverbed and a like beach, like a sandy beach with fine
yes,
sand.
yes. So what would make you as a plant just naturally grow roots into quickly because there's more contact surface area
Hmm.
for these roots to spread their fibers into. So this creates that more easily. And people will ask, how wet do we want to keep the moss? And I always say as damp as a wrung out sponge. So you'll want to wet it and then
No dripping.
squeeze it, and then yes, till all the water drips out. That's how wet you want it. So if you've already planted your corm, obviously don't pick it up and squeeze it. You can fill it up with water and then wait till it soaks through. And then sometimes I just pour the excess out. You don't want
Hmm.
excess water staying, but you want the whole moss to be damp, not soaking. If you
Okay.
squeeze it and water's coming out, it's too wet. So then you put a nice little top on it, a label that says what it is, and you put this under a grow light or in a sunny window.
Hmm.
Um, it's not that corms necessarily need light to sprout initially, but once they start sprouting, it's going to need light to photosynthesize. So I put mine, and you know what? It'll be nice to show you where I put mine. This is my corm growing area. So you can
Look at
see
that.
these are all my corms, and they are. I mean, this is how close they are to the grow light. This
Hmm.
is like 7, 8 inches, so they can take a lot of light when they're first sprouting. So maybe a good foot from where
Amazing.
they're growing. Yeah. And then, of course, they will get bleached if they grow too close to the light. By bleached, I just mean the color gets too bright. And that's okay. It's not going to kill your plant. You just move the plant away
Right.
to a lower light area as they get bigger. And then you can transplant them to their final destination. Acclimate them slowly. You might shock your plant if you open up the humidity chamber, pop
Right.
them up, and then leave them in 40% humidity. It might go through shock. So we talked about in the podcast about slowly cracking the lid and leaving that there for a few days cracked, and then transplanting it will help to adjust it over time.
And do multiples if you can, so you have a couple of different ones to play with and see and maybe even experiment with. And if one goes down, you've got other ones there. Because I think the biggest, we're at time, but the biggest takeaway, I think, too, from our interview, and I think what you really are passionate about encouraging people is, don't be scared. Like, just try it. It's fun. It's going to be fun to stick something in moss and see roots grow. And if the roots
Right.
don't grow, try a different way or try a different corm. Like, this doesn't have to be that deep. It doesn't need to be that scary. But it's so
Right.
fun to watch life appear before your eyes this way.
Yes, and you'll be like the old lady in a shoe. You'll have so many alocasia babies, you won't know what to do, and
Shelves,
that's a
just
good
like you.
problem. You'll have like shelves and shelves of them.
So funny.
And soon you'll be buying Chinese soup containers, and you're like, what does my life come to? But it's a
I'll
good
never
thing.
think of soup again without thinking of you. Now, speaking of buying, if anybody wanted to buy your book, because your book walks you through not just corn
Yeah.
propagation, but so many others, let us know about your book and where people can find it.
Yeah, so my book is the ultimate guide to houseplant propagation. So it really walks you through step by step how to propagate alocasias by corm, how to pollinate anthuriums if you're interested in creating
Mhm.
anthurium hybrids. It's the first book to walk you through that step by step. Hoyas, even cacti. It gets to the whole runs through the whole gamut. So you can find that the ultimate guide to houseplant propagation on Amazon, Target, and a signed copy is available on my website, alltheplantbabies.com.
Yay. Well, thank you for this incredible tutorial. I'll keep you posted. I'm going to go fill this water up. I will keep you
Awesome.
posted. I'm putting it on my window and I can't wait to see it sprout.
Yeah, and you can cover it up for humidity.
I will. I'll put some plastic wrap on top.
Awesome. Keep me
Cool. Thanks,
posted.
friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Bye.
me as always. Mwah. Bye.
Mwah. Bye.